What's up guys, Craig here with Tech Support, today bringing you some World of Warcraft footage, more specifically the brand new scenario, Theramore's Fall. Now a few interesting things to point out here is as soon as you jump into this scenario, you're going to be greeted with an objective list right under your mini-map. And you can actually click that and it will give you a detailed description of what you're supposed to do. So when I clicked it, it told me that I was supposed to go from boat to boat and arm the boats with explosives. So you can see us doing that now. We're actually pulling some trash mobs, and as you can see, they're really not hitting me that hard. I mean, I'm not that geared of a tank. By no means am I that geared. But at points I am pulling a pretty healthy amount of mobs, and they're just not hitting me that hard. So as far as difficulty goes here, I don't think it's going to be that bad. I don't think any of them are going to be that bad, because that's not necessarily the point. Blizzard does promise that you can ideally jump in here with any composition, so if you wanted to go 3 heals, you could go 3 heals. But interestingly enough, one of the shamans in our group, I have an enhanced shaman and an elemental shaman I believe, and one of the shamans started getting smacked by one of the mobs. And he actually almost died. So I don't know if the scenario scales with what you do have in your group, but I don't know. Anyways, you can actually see that we finished the stage 1 and we're going to go to stage 2 now. We got to go talk to some guy. Can't think of his name right now, but at any time I could have clicked on my mini-map and went to him. So as soon as we go talk to him, I do believe he's going to explode everything. Yep, everything explode. Now we're going to go kill the griffins. Yeah, I think that's what we're supposed to do. So as you can see, as you start to progress through the stages, you know, the game is very clear of what you're supposed to be doing. Everything's broken down. This was my first time running through this place, and I had no trouble figuring out what was going on. And like here, you know, I probably have 5 or 6 guys, 4 or 5 guys on me. And like I said, they're not hitting me that hard. I wasn't very conscious of my health. Didn't really have to think about it. I was just having fun, enjoying it, kind of getting a good idea of the story. And you know, I feel like that's kind of the point. Now I'm about to slow down the video footage a little bit for you guys so you can actually kind of see what is going on with these quote-unquote boss fights. And honestly, this wasn't that hard. Blizzard has made it very clear of the mechanics within the fights, if there are any. Now, this fight doesn't really show a good representation of that, but when we get to a fight like that, I'll definitely show you guys what I'm talking about. But there are points where the game is very clear that you're not supposed to do something. And in my experience, they were even, like, the mechanics you did not necessarily have to avoid. If you were trying to do well at this scenario, you could avoid it, but they weren't like one-shot kill scenario things. You know, they weren't going to just kill you if you decided to completely disregard the mechanics. At least in my experience. I don't know if that's true for everyone. Maybe if you're not a tank, it might kill you. And here again, you can actually see I pulled a pretty good healthy amount of mobs. And this is the only time that I actually kind of had to think of my health. But I didn't have to lay on hands or anything. I was just more or less using my holy power to heal me back up. Not that big of a deal. And while we're talking about paladins a little bit, I'd like to point out that I do kind of like the changes they've done with paladins. I'm kind of mad they took away my AoE taunt. But then again, I'm glad I can cast Consecration anytime now, pretty much. I mean, it still has a cooldown, but it's always up if I want it to be up. And I like the fact that I can cast it anywhere. And I also love the fact that I can now have 5 Holy Power and only spend 3. That's cool, because I was the kind of guy that, especially as a tank, I didn't necessarily always pay attention to how much Holy Power I had. So knowing that I can cast a spell that requires Holy Power and then cast another spell, that's great. So at this point you can see now we had to destroy these, the name of them is kind of this, let's see, hold on. The tanks? I don't know. I'm not very good with names. And after you destroy those, you can activate the boss. And now this is one of those very clear mechanics that you can see. I'm targeted, and I think it told me that I should run away. And I kind of realized that, so I started running away, and it wasn't that big of a deal. Then you can see the very clear red circle that you're probably not supposed to stand in. And this guy kind of chases you around, kind of like the first boss in Ololar. So kind of cool. He targets different people and starts chasing them around. But all in all, not that hard of a fight. Honestly feel like with this whole place, I probably could have soloed it. It would have been a pain, but it would have been doable. So not that big of a deal. So now we're on to our final stage. It says fly, spy. We look at our map, see exactly where we need to go. Not that big of a deal. Pretty interesting scenario so far. You know, all in all, this seems pretty easy. And like I said before, I don't think the point is to necessarily challenge players. It's more or less to progress the storyline and let you guys kind of know what's going on. And one thing that is pretty interesting, I feel like, is that Blizzard just recently posted a, I guess you could call it the story of Warcraft, starting back from the first Warcraft game, going all the way up to Cataclysm. So if you're not really sure about what's going on in the game, me personally, I played since vanilla, and I still didn't know exactly what was going on. I didn't know why Horde and Alliance were fighting, or anything like that. But you have about a paragraph description of each game that goes all the way through Cataclysm, so it kind of gives you a good idea of what is going on in the game. So in this, I kind of got lost here. Went all the way upstairs. I was like, guys, I think I'm going the wrong way. So we ended up killing this guy real quick. Like I said, no big deal. All these guys are pretty easy. And we ran back down. This kind of reminds me, if you're a Horde player, one of the beginning quests, like around level 12, 11, like I said, I'm not very good with names, by Crossroads, one of the quests you have to go in the castle. I think this is the same exact castle. Blizzard has been kind of known to use the same buildings whenever they're doing anything. So as this starts out, you know, we pretty much, this was probably our longest fight. I have been slowing down the speeds for you guys when I get to these fights. I don't know if you noticed that, but this guy was honestly probably one of our longer ones. But he did really nothing to really, you know, throw us off or make us think about the fight. He does end up doing a whirlwind, I believe. And for the first like 10 seconds of that whirlwind, my group and I all stood into it. It wasn't that big of a deal. And then I kind of backed away because I was like, well, maybe this guy's putting a dot on me and I may want to back up, but it was really nothing. See, there goes the whirlwind. I backed up a little bit. The one guy in my group almost died and he ended up backing up, so not that big of a deal. Once we finished that, you could see on the right hand corner below our map, our objectives are being completed. Nice check marks, and it says to go downstairs and free somebody. Like I said, can't think of his name. I'm awful with names. So I'm going to wrap this up real quick, guys. I'm going to, you know, let you check this out, let you check out the ending if you want to. I apologize for the video quality on the ending. I don't know what happened there, but you still can get a good idea of what goes down. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit me up with the subscribe. You know, we plan on releasing more videos like this, so I hope you guys enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.
My thanks. Shall we make our way off this miserable little island? The failed siege was merely a feint, of course. You didn't realize? Even now an airship draws near. Its arcane payload will flatten Theramore Isle, and everyone's still standing upon it. There we go. Should you pass through Silvermoon City, come and say hello, Al diolch.
We're gonna turn this place into a sinkhole.